Hello, and thank you so very much for joining me tonight. I go by Lune, and I'm here. And what I'm creating tonight for you, for the collective, is just a little relaxing kind of hangout, kind of catch up, kind of show and tell. I don't know, I have a long list of sessions for me to create, but I really wanted to create a kind of simple video, a little bit extra casual. I wouldn't say my videos are particularly uptight or anything, or certainly not scripted or heavily planned, but I just wanted to create a little bit of a hangout here, so I'm just gonna follow my gut and do that. Still, I'd like to set an intention and light a candle, because hey, why not? So I'm just using these sandalwood incense matches, lighting this little tea light here. With the intention to, connect, to channel, to move, to support, different perspective, just a chill vibe in general. I'm sorry this isn't so incredibly deep, right? But just like set intention to chill the F out, hang out, let it flow. Perhaps, I don't want to say inspire, that sounds quite, can be taken the wrong way, but something like inspire. So I have had this deck that I'm legitimately just taking the wrapper off of now, that I've been wanting to share. I've been wanting to look at it myself, but I've been wanting to share. So for those of you, a lot of you, I think the only people, the heads who are watching this, know what I do. You know that I'm an esoteric healing arts teacher. Hello, Shadow Mercury RX. And I've been quite lucky to connect with so many amazing people over the last few years, particularly through my YouTube channel. Or a step from it, maybe someone who found me on YouTube and then we connected through a friend of a friend kind of situation. But two people who I absolutely love, who I've met through the channel or met through this platform, have, one I have in my hands right now, successfully launched a Kickstarter for card decks. And I just really want to celebrate everyone for when they have this kind of, or any kind of success. And I really want to clarify what I mean by success. I'm not speaking of some kind of monetary level or some top of the mountain kind of situation. But what I mean by that is when you have a goal and you accomplish it, you set out for something and you put in the work and you do it. That's what I mean by success, completion, or a lesson obtained through an experience, right? And I think that really needs to be celebrated. So my dear friend Angela Mary Magick, she has a Moon Baby Tarot deck that's coming out, and it was successfully launched through Kickstarter, successfully funded. I think that's so rad, and I'm so proud of her, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. And my friend Holly Simple also created this deck with the support of a fully funded Kickstarter, a successful Kickstarter campaign, which is no easy task, right? So I just really wanted to celebrate my friends here. So this is called the Amulet, Friends Oracle Deck. This is by Holly Simple, and it says, "Allow nature to guide you." Holly, I met through, I think, I had been eyeing one of her decks, and her style. I love it in general. I had been eyeing one of her decks, and she ended up sending one to me. It was one of those weird, oh my gosh, you know of me, I know of you, kind of the situation's so freaking bizarre. It's bizarre. But it was so cool, and she's a Capricorn, I'm a Cancer. I don't know, I just really, really connect with her. I feel very sistery vibes. We ended up doing a retreat together this year, right when COVID in the States kind of popped off. So this is her little deck here. Amulet friends, right? Cute inside. Love the details. Came with this orange, which is my favorite. This is my favorite color. This kind of slightly obnoxious orange. Little baggie to keep your cards in. So nice. Comes with this cute little guidebook. And I am discovering this for the first time here, of course. Here are the cards. There's a lot of them. I wonder how many are here. Like, definitely probably 50 something. It's like a big stack. Super cute artwork. I love Holly Simple's style. So rad. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm sorry if I seem like lulled. I just had a big dinner. And I'm at the end of my moon time, which like I do get a bit of brain drain. And I'm trying to keep it kind of chill, right? So, but as I shuffle these, we'll pull some cards. I'm going to use the book because these are so brand new and fresh to me, and they're oracle cards. So I want to see what Holly shares in her creation, right? But what has been going on with you? How has this bitch ass 2020 been treating you? I'd say for me, it's been ups and downs, strikes and gutters, you know. So much has happened. My life has truly changed this year in so many ways. We only have a quarter of this year left. It's wild to me. Although I will say, you know, clearly I honor the fact that the year is changing, right? And I honor the years in our calendar or whatever. But I really see the year as more in line with like the zodiac wheel, right? So Aries through Pisces, which means that we're more like halfway through. We're in Libra season, the scales halfway through. So, and you know, that fits in even with COVID and stuff as a marking of time here, because for at least in the States anyway, it started to have an impact in Aries season. So interesting, right? But there have been such beautiful things that began for me at the start of all of this, and one was the online classes or the distance classes that I've been teaching this year. I have been teaching these for a few years now, but I have not been doing them in a class format. I've always been doing them one-to-one, which as much as I love that one-to-one, it's just not a sustainable like setup for myself, you know. I think it was a great way to get started. I'm glad I began that way. I think it taught me a lot. But for this year to have moved over to you know, bigger classes, not that big, like we kind of cap it at 10 usually, has just been really transformative and much more streamlined for me as well, which is of course very beneficial. Let's see what else. So I gained that. I feel like I gained that, and you know, I had to release some stuff as well in my personal life. I've had some major changes this year, and you know, it's just a lot. It's just a lot for all of us. And I'm speaking, of course, from a very personal level. Clearly, there's been a lot going on in the greater environment in so many ways, which, of course, is a reflection of within, right? As without, so within. As within, so without. All that good stuff. So I'm just going to focus and pull some cards and see if this inspires any other conversation. But I would love to hear in the comments, like, what you let go of this year and what you can see that you've gained, you know, or taken on. I feel like there's been just so much. I want to say one of my favorite things about this year has been the witnessing of people and their hustle. And I don't mean the hustle like working your fingers to the bone, like sleepless nights, malnutrition. Like, I don't mean that kind of hustle. I mean like working around the system, doing things out of the box, like restaurant pop-ups, like chef pop-ups and different things and different just ways for people to make money, these online communities, and just taking this different approach. Even the way like I don't watch TV that much, but to see these shows kind of get carried over, done out of people's like attics and stuff is quite interesting. I don't know, I just appreciate that so many people have been able to roll with it, you know, to make it work, and I really appreciate that. Alright, so let's pull some cards here. And I'll pull 2 piles. How about that? We'll start with 1, 2, 3, and then 1, 2, 3. And I'll give you something to focus on to see what would be best for you. So let's say pile 1 is this selenite wand. So quite directional, very like fiber optic, downloads, purifying, space holding, space protecting. And then we'll use this labradorite for pile number 2. So you can pick, okay? What are you leaning towards today? This is a bit more mysterious, isn't it? A bit more dreamy, a bit more below the surface, what is revealed, manifesting, pulling from the void. What are you in line with today? So I do have some announcements, right? Kind of boring, I guess, but I'm going to be working with a crystal shop soon to kind of set up my own online shop. I'm still going to, of course, share the shops that I buy my stuff from. So it's not like I'm trying to streamline people to my own shop. It's more of like, it's not an affiliate. I don't know what you would call it, but basically I'm going to have like a crystal website soon just to share that stuff. I'll give more information about it, of course. And I'm also going to be changing some stuff in Patreon next year. I do have a lot of changes that I've felt called to make, but I just don't feel like it's the right time. I want to just get through the end of 2020 into 2021 and just like figure it out. I'm curious if anybody else is doing work and kind of planning things for next year, because it's just like, can we just maintain? Like, that's what I feel like. I don't want to rock any boats. I just want to like get through, right? All right, so pile number 1, let's see what we got. We got the card Faith, Expand, so cool, and Healing. And I'm going to go right for this guidebook here and read a little to you. The colors are so good. Okay, Faith. Faith. A deep inner trusting. The acceptance of not knowing. There is something bigger than me, not my plan. Hashtag not my plan. Faith in the process that this moment is your moment, that all that has happened to you has been for you. There is a bigger picture, greater plan. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I should put my glasses on. There is a bigger, better, greater plan for you than you could ever have imagined. And the affirmation is, I trust I am taken care of by something bigger than me. I trust that all happiness to me is for me, for my greater good. I believe that this is my story according to the universe. Thank you, Spirit, for keeping me on track. So cute. Okay, I'm saying cute, but just like I like the font and everything is what I'm trying to say. And I like the little booklet. Okay, so we have just here a message of trust in the beyond and whatever that means for you. I know not everyone really resonates with God or the universe and that kind of stuff, but perhaps there's just anything that you can connect with that just is beyond, you know what I mean? Like happenstance, right? Or coincidence or synchronicities, or it could be divine timing, or things that are just meant to be because we create our stories, or at least we at some point become the author of our stories. I don't believe that we're the author of our stories for our entire lives. I think we have to kind of come into that, and it's part of becoming more of an adult, right? Or more mature in general. But if there's something that you can connect with beyond you, the easiest way is to, depending on what you resonate with, but pray or journal or talk to nature, talk to the animals, just moving outside of yourself essentially, or establishing a rapport outside of yourself can help you connect with faith. All right, so then we had expand, just pretty close by. Such a cool card. Oh my god, I really love all these. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of cartoons, but this gives me like a much sweeter, more wholesome super jail vibes. I love that card too. Okay, expand. Curiosity. May we always be teachable, willing openness of our hearts. Grow or die, expansion of consciousness. We are apart. The more we know, the more we know. Step outside your comfort zone. This is the often painful place of growth. Affirmation is, I am teachable, interested, capable, curious, trustworthy, and always seeking. My heart is open to whatever you have in store for me, universe. So here we have, let's say, this guidance on just connecting with what is beyond you, and then expanding in that field, or the expansion that comes from that. Greater perspective, a more meaningful plan, such as, I use this example sometimes, but when we get started on this path, if we do start from typically, right, and I know this isn't everyone, but we start with a desire, which could be quite, I don't want to say superficial, but compared to what we end up getting, or finding out or uncovering, it's almost superficial. So it could be something like, and this is deep, but I'm trying to say, I hope, manifesting love, or manifesting a career, or manifesting money, or anything like that, or anything at all. And we're like, well, how can I do that? Or, oh, I've heard of law of attraction. Or, oh, meditation helps. Or, I'm getting into this like ritual and leaning a little more witchy here. Or, wow, spiritual alchemy is super helpful. Oh my gosh, hermeticism. Like, sometimes the thing that the thing that serves as a catalyst for us to uncover the deeper, expanded things within our psyches, within our energetic realms, within our potential to access the universe, universal laws, all this stuff. It can come from, first seeing it as a bit more of a tunnel vision experience, right? Or focusing on one thing, and then so much is revealed through the process, and you kind of come into your own, and you expand, your vision expands. And therefore, when you're manifesting, for example, you can manifest from a more expansive place. I don't want to just manifest a certain amount of money. I want to manifest a lifestyle. I want to manifest the ability to be very generous. I want to manifest the ability to hire people to help me with my work and stuff like that, right? So it extends. I hope that makes sense. Let's say, and I have a friend who, I use them as an example sometimes, but they're wonderful. And one time we were chatting about like Instagram followers perhaps, or YouTube followers or something like that, and they were like, but like, why do I even want this? Like, why do I even want Instagram followers? Or I'm paraphrasing and I don't mean to misquote, but just in general, something like that. And it's like, yeah, but it's not about the followers. It's about, that means that your message is getting out there. It means you're brightening more people's day. More people resonate with what you're saying. And that means that you know, it's validating for your work, right? So sometimes we focus on things like followers, which can seem quite superficial, but what's the deeper meaning there? So I just would encourage you to consider, right, like the more expanded versions of like, what am I working towards? How does this support others? Or what does this mean for my family? Or what does this mean for my lineage? Or what does this mean for the path that I'm carving for others, or the example I'm setting for others? Things like that. Because the next card here is healing. Okay, allowing space for healing, spiritual, mental, and physical. Honoring the process of grief, cannot rush. Self-care during these times of healing. Be kind to yourself, go easy, practice patience. Cannot rush this process. Move through, cannot avoid. And the affirmation is, my mind, body, and soul are healing on Goddess's time, not mine. Although it doesn't feel great, I trust that this too shall pass. I am allowed to rest and be with myself. Okay, so we have our healing card. And, you know, if the book resonates with you, by all means, but healing can certainly, how do I phrase this? When we're growing, when we're working on ourselves, when we're connecting to the beyond, when we're journaling, when we're praying, when we're connecting with nature, when we're reflecting, when we're thinking of all the, you know, things that have had to happen for us to even just be where we are right now, that kind of thing. And we can expand our vision, we can expand the perception of the meaning of us and the meaning of our wants and the meaning of, you know, where we're pulled to, essentially. With that experience comes healing. I'm sure there's more to it, right, for each individual. This is just general here. But there is a healing that comes from that, absolutely. More detachment, more just being like a little more chill, much more flexible. And that is such a tremendous shift for the majority of people, to go from feeling quite attached, for example, needing to control and know the timing of situations, to, you know, getting in the lazy river of the universe and just like this trust and letting go and viewing and being appreciative for the sights along the way and things like that. Healing takes place, and it's not always the most comfortable experience, right? So I feel like the guidance of the book here is a little bit of, you know, move through it, not avoid it. So if there is any healing stuff that you're going through, what's the word? I don't want to say healing crisis, but if you feel like you're having some kind of like existential crisis, or some discomfort or discord that has come because things have been churned up within you, because you're developing, because you're reflecting, because you're just giving a lot of thought to, you know, what is life and like all this stuff, and changing your perspective and all this shit, to just like be gentle with yourself, you know, give yourself everything that you could possibly need, all the rest, all the time. You know, I know that we all don't have all the time in the world, but as much as you can give yourself, carving some out for you in the day. Exercising is coming up for me, crying. If you need a good cry, you can watch My Octopus Teacher on Netflix. I was like holding it. It was like a hold it in cry for me. It really hurt, but it was really beautiful and such a sweet documentary. But, you know, just kind of sharing that. Be gentle with yourself. It's natural. It's natural to have that discomfort come up, or that, you know, the challenges of growth, the challenges of outgrowing things, the challenges of having to hold different boundaries or make new patterns for yourself, like in reality, in your day-to-day, avoiding things that don't really put you on a good path, or that bring you back to the places you've been before that you know it's time to move on from. Those are all difficult. Those are all difficult things to do, so just kind of honor that. All right, so let's do, this pile number 2 here. So, these are I love this. I freaking love this. Okay, so we have morph. What a good word, right? Morph. Probably not good that way. So it just makes me want to say it that way. Oh my god, these paintings are so cool. We have awakening. And forgive. Okay. I'm getting some stuff, but I want to honor the book here. And it's just fun. Morph. Okay. Evolve, transform, evolution. The only constant is change. Flexibility. If we do not evolve, we will repeat and relive karmic loops and stories until we choose change. Say yes to pushing your limits. Be uncomfortable. It is where you will find more of you. And the affirmation is, what I am experiencing today is for my growth. May I always be leveling up. Of course, Miss Capricorn. Miss Holly Simple Capricorn. Very driven. I love it. So, evolution. We're all always changing. So you may be finding yourself just really aware of that. Not that you weren't aware before, but it's maybe coming up in your life very evidently. You might really be called as well to practice detachment, loving detachment, I mean, of course, and evolve. Maybe you're watching a friend evolve. Maybe you're watching your partner evolve. Maybe you're just watching the state of the world change. Hello, we've got this freaking Uranus and Taurus, I believe was that the one? I'm pretty sure. In Taurus, which is, oh gosh, please correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Is it Uranus? It's not Neptune. I'm going to say Uranus, and this like element of change over the next, well, it's a 7-year time period, and I think we've been in it for a couple of years already, if I'm not mistaken. But what is time, right? And it's a time where everything is changing. The post office, the way that we're running our lives, like I was talking before, I think about like the hustle and how I'm so glad to see people adapting and changing, right? So you may have been called to make some changes, to change your typical career, right? Or like how you were working before, or you might be setting up a home office so that you can do stuff at home, or you have, and you might just be reflecting or aware of like, we are constantly in flux. This can be quite uncomfortable, right? Because as much as, you know, I'm a logical person and I can say, yeah, like, sure, like I get it, right? Change is inevitable. Getting attached to something is only setting myself up for pain down the road, right? So would you try to keep a looseness, right? A flexibility. But it's still hard to think about that when you want something, or we all want security. We all want security, and the concept of constant flux is in contrast with our desire for security. But I think that this kind of speaks to the ability, or the guidance, the quest to discover like what is truly stable and what can I attach to in my concepts of security and stability and safety, and what does that mean for me. And if everything outside is constantly changing, then where is that stability within, and how can I cultivate and propagate that within or in my life in whatever way. All right, and our next card is Awakening. All right, Awakening. The thawing of old patterns and behaviors. Trust that this new way, although painful, will bring bigger, better, and more beautiful gifts and lessons. Can be slowly achieved or happen subtly. Open your heart and mind to this experience, which will be unique to you. And the affirmation is, my reality is exactly what it is supposed to be according to Goddess and the bigger, better plan for me. Thank you for my intuition. I trust this righteous progress. My heart, mind, and soul are open channels. All right, that's great. So, we have morph. We have this concept of flux. and we have an awakening, which is kind of what we started talking about, right? Or it could be looked at that way. This bigger picture, this perspective, it kind of almost leans into the expand that we were talking about before with the other card reading. But I love that it's a duck with these like crazy eyes and stuff. Oh, they're so cool. I don't know if you can see how cool these are, but there's some definitely like rad tattoos in here or something. Anyway, but to basically be able to trust, that you have the ability to level up time and time again, and whatever that means for you. And I don't mean to say, right, that there's anything wrong with you. That's not what I mean. But I think we're all always trying to be a little better than we were the day before, right? Or, that would be nice. So when it comes to awakening, following the concepts of transformation and the hustle and all this stuff, I think that we're here waking up to a new inner security, because if that's what we're focused on, and we can just identify like, what are my needs? What are my needs, and how can I connect with them? How can I have this fortitude of my needs, fortify my needs, even in such constantly changing world, right? I saw this, I don't know why this is coming up for me, but this really, really sad video. It did have a happy ending, but it was this father and his daughter in an area where, there was bombs being dropped, and he was teaching her to laugh when the bombs fell so that, she'd be less afraid of them, even though, of course, I'm sure he was petrified himself, or, in such a state. But he was able to, help her to connect with joy and laughter, even in such a terrible time. And no, I'm not saying that, no one should have to go through that. I don't mean it that way. But that perspective of being able to do what you can, given the circumstances. Now, I did see that father and daughter did, I want to say because of the video, but who am I to say? I don't know. This is just something I saw on YouTube, so who knows, right? But I saw that they did get out of that area. Thank goodness, So anyway, I hope that made sense a little bit. Or, it's more of just like an ability in yourself, or an awakening in yourself, it feels like. And then we have forgive. There's so many. I'm just like blown away by how many cards there are. Okay. Forgive. Non-reaction, acceptance of exactly how a situation, person, place, or thing is. True freedom. An opportunity to practice love and tolerance. It is truly a practice. When we practice forgiveness, our hearts create space for more knowing. And the affirmation is, today I forgive myself, others, my mind, my past, my fear, my heart. A moment at a time, I can practice forgiveness. The freedom forgiveness brings feels amazing. Gosh, I can't talk. But I'm just trying to see what I get from here. I guess it is a little self-explanatory when we think of forgiveness, but I'm just trying to tie it in. So I think that a lot can come up for us right now, given, the present circumstances, given all of this change without, change within, the awakening, right, of like perspectives, of like adaptability, of the shift, of navigating the shift, and how we need to be kind of like on the ball a little bit, right? Like on point, like aware. This isn't the type of thing that, who's to say, but it doesn't feel like the kind of thing we can just kind of hide from, or not be experiencing. Like, it's not like none of us have been able to avoid the experiences of 2020. You know what I mean? So all of that going on, all of that kind of playing a role, right, in our perspective and all this change and all this stuff, there must be, without doubt, a lot of anger, certainly, right? In the collective, or perhaps you're experiencing something like this where it's like, why did it have to be this way? This should have been that. That should have been this. Like, I don't want to say blame necessarily, but, blame can certainly be tied, right, to something that we need to forgive, right, or let go of. The reality is that we do have power. We do have the ability to change situations. We do have the ability to form a critical mass to make very significant changes in our communities, in our states, in our country, like whatever, in your social groups, in your family dynamic, in what you entertain in your life, in the energy that you bring to dynamics, and therefore change dynamics in relationships or work or whatever, right? It's all over the place. But if there's anything that needs to be let go of, or, is there anything that you're wasting your time on? Is there anything you're wasting your energy on in terms of just being mad about it, when it's not to say you can't change things, you can, but there's no point in carrying an anger necessarily unless you're directing it towards something to make some kind of change, right? So that's what it feels like. It feels like being able to develop clarity, whether this may be perhaps through journaling and writing, not exactly pros and cons, but like, what can I control and what is beyond my control, and just the reality right now, and how can I work in that? What can I do in that? You know what I'm trying to say? It just seems like something to consider, I guess, right now. Like, what can you forgive? What can you let go of? What is the baggage? And it feels like it's tied to change. So this could certainly be, let's say, even, like I started to say, watching someone change, or watching a friend change, or you changing and they're not, and you're like kind of disappointed, right? And you wake up to that and you see, oh my gosh, we're growing apart from one another, or oh my gosh, this is how our relationship has been. I can't entertain this anymore. I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't have this in my life anymore. Not with a harshness, but just with like facts, man, facts. So you might feel like you have to forgive yourself. You might feel like you have to forgive someone else for not being able to change, or being closed-minded, or whatever it might be for you. But it is worth letting go of and offering that not olive branch for like peace, but like the energetic olive branch. I hope I can say that okay. Hello, noisy car. So I'm going to pop these into this little sachet here. It's super cute. Alright, bro, go away. Okay, now that car has driven by, or whatever that was. I don't even know if that was a car. I just wanted to chat a little bit about, I guess, reflections on the year so far, now that we're at this halfway point in the zodiac wheel, is what I mean by that, right? And dang. So much has changed. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't even know where to start, but I will say, I just want to share my major takeaways so far. One of them is certainly in alignment with the readings that we've had, and that is change, right? And flux. And I've kind of always known, not always, but I learned a while ago that we should never be too attached to anything, because those attachments are the things that get taken away. But when you feel kind of neutral about something, or you just appreciate it, it doesn't seem to be ripped away from us the same way. And that's such a bummer. And I've talked about this before. I think I even talked about it in the Libra video. But, it's really come up a lot I've learned that even when you're prepared for something mentally, even when you're ready for something, like as ready as you can still go through, and you still need to go through periods perhaps of grief or, grief. I'll say grief for the closing of chapters, for the ending of certain situations, and the door that opens to the new ones. And it's just something I think that really needs to be honored and, celebrated, but just really respected in our lives. So one of the biggest things for me, of course, this year has been my divorce. And it's so funny to talk about it because we are so close. We're very, very, very good friends. Dare I say best friends still, maybe that will change one day, but this dude's in my life forever, like we work together still, we co-parent together, we have so much love for one another. But even with all of that, it was such a grieving process, and it is not finalized yet. In fact, last month, because October just started, but last month was really a lot of work that we had to do for it. Lots of paperwork, getting things notarized, taking classes, like all this stuff that was kind of like reopened some wounds, like brought some stuff to the surface. And they're back. Is it the same one? Okay. I don't know where I was, but it certainly brought stuff up, because the door wasn't totally closed, at least in the legal sense, right? So that's a very big thing for me this year, for sure. And I guess like what I can say as a 38-year-old lady over here is that every day is new. Like now that I'm like in the position that I'm in now, I've never been in this position before. I've never been on my own. I've never been a single mom. I've never been in a position where I'm talking to people and, I have to consider things it is not just me that I'm looking out for. I'm looking out for someone else too, like my child, right? So I guess what I'm just trying to share is that it kind of put this perspective to me that like no matter how old we get, all of this is still being done for the first time for us, like maybe give or take, right? But like every day is the first day of being whatever age you are, wherever you are in life. And even though things do tend to, begin to feel monotonous eventually, you'll go through some change, and then it'll be another time of, wow, this is all new again, or wow, this is so different than what it was like before, and stuff like that. So I'm not articulating that very clearly, but the concept of newness and of learning and of discovery, clearly I knew that this was something that never ended, but it's just like, yeah, duh, like this never ends. Like you're always in a position where it's like a first, right? Or these firsts are still there, like no matter how experienced you feel like you might be. So that's one thing. Another thing that I've learned, which I've kind of talked about already a bit, but it's just the concept of time and how 2020 has really shown us what compression feels like and limitations feel like in such a different way for most of us, right? Finances are different for so many of us. Time is different. The work is different. A lot of us are home with our kids doing homeschool. It's different. There's things I'm not even aware of, right? Just different. So I have learned this year that I must prioritize my personal time. It has to be done. If not, then I won't have anything left to give, right? So if you have sent me an email, if you've sent me an Instagram message, I just so rarely check my Instagram messages. like even for friends, you know what I mean? If people want to talk to me, like they have my number, they can text me kind of thing. Like people in my social group, right? And but if you've emailed me or anything like that, please, I ask for your forgiveness. Like I just don't have it in me to open my email right now. I really don't. I don't have it in me to open my DMs. It takes up a lot of my time, a lot of my emotional things too, because even when something's really good, it's very emotional, and that kind of can mess with you too. So this is strange, right? This is a first. This is something like I don't know how to. It's just different. It's a weird dynamic, it's a strange situation. So please just remember, I'm only one person. I do have an assistant that goes through my email and forwards me anything that I need to address. But if it's questions about working with me, if it's questions about like the classes or anything like that, like my assistant will reply to you there. So business wise, you can email me for business, but other emails, like I just don't get them anymore. I realize that's very frustrating for people who just want to reach out and share a story or like something kind. Like, please know how much I value that and value those messages. It's just the sheer time that it takes to like go through things and the emotional kind of stuff that comes up for me as that's going on. So I will just say the easiest way for me to get a message from you that is easy for me and hopefully easy for you is to simply leave a comment on any of my videos, because I read every single one of my comments here. Like, it's really easy on the YouTube app to just go through your comments. And I also have Patreon, right? So that's like another area that you can leave comments, post in the community. And if you have a business question or if it's something about working with me, there is email, but like I said, that's what my assistant will go through. And I've just been really needing to preserve my own energy for the work that I do and for my personal life and for being a mom and like all this stuff. So I hope that in your life you're also, understanding what your boundaries are, and there's an evolution. Like I'm no freaking big shot. I'm a regular ass person for sure, but there's one of me and there's hundreds of you, and for me to come on here and share a story, it's me coming out and sharing one thing, and when I come back to, or what gets sent to me is like a whole bunch of stuff. So just please try to consider, what do I mean by this? Please just like understand that, and understand that it's just a different situation. It's so not personal. I love connecting. I love that we have this odd way of connecting and all this stuff, but I just want to like be very transparent with like where I'm at and like my emotional health, my energetic health, my physical health, my mental health, like all this stuff like really has to be the priority for me, because if I don't have that under control, then what good am I to anyone else, right? So the classes have been so good this year. Patreon has been so amazing. It's been such a blessing to have that space, particularly during this craziness and how different things have been in terms of work and stuff. So like, just I'm so grateful to the Patreon community, and the live streams are something I look forward to every month or every other weekend or whenever it ends up happening, essentially, but like twice a month. I love those little groups so much. They're so funny, and I don't know, I just have like a really good time there. It's just a good group. It's a really good group. All right, so now that we've gotten that kind of talk out of the way, I'm just going to share a little bit of more lighter stuff. Let's see if I can. So I shared this in my Libra video, but one of the things that's been very, very, very comforting for me, honestly, this is my feet. This is my feet on the table here. Sorry, it sounds super weird. But one of the things that I have been leaning into as a method of self-soothing, no, I'm not saying this is the healthiest thing in the world. No, I'm not encouraging this necessarily, right? I'm just trying to be very honest, right? But materialism, go ahead and say it, but like materialism has definitely been something that I've been finding comfort in. You know, am I the most proud of that? No, not really. But I'd be lying if I acted like, that wasn't part of my self-soothing. So, but buying myself things each month, like a little gift for myself, a little budget for myself each month, has been very helpful. It's been very comforting for me. And that's okay, right? It's okay to buy yourself stuff. I don't know where this concept or this kind of like as if it's part of my shadow, right? Like, I feel like this can be certainly something that I need to integrate. Like, it's okay. It's okay to treat yourself like it is, right? So anyway, the reason I'm bringing this up is because one of the things that I've been treating myself to is more in line with skincare. So it hasn't just been skincare. I've bought myself some clothes. I've really got myself like all new underwear and bras and stuff, right? Like that kind of stuff too. It's been like a real treat for me. Freaking little Instagram shops and stuff getting me. I've been loving ARQ, ARQ. I've been loving Cup, CUUP. I've been loving different bathing suit companies like 1-1 Swimwear or Left on Friday. I get my tops from 1-1. I get my bottoms from Left on Friday. Stuff like that. Bought a beautiful robe. It's called Cloud Cotton from Parachute. I've been investing more in like ethically made clothing. So buying less stuff, but they do have higher price points. So I'm more, one thing at a time kind of thing. It's more of like investments into my wardrobe now, as opposed to times when I felt like, oh, well, I want to get as much stuff as I can for as little as I can. And now it's like, all right, I'll spend the money, but I want like pieces that I can have for a long time, right? So this has all been part of, since March, like my thing, like what I've been doing for myself. And I'm quite happy about it. It's been great. Anyway, but one of those things has also been skincare, and I'm only really bringing this up because I definitely get comments once in a while asking me about like my skin and stuff like that. So a lot of times I'm very shiny in these videos because I'll like just wash my face and put on like my serums and film the video, and like I'm super shiny when that happens. So if you ever see me really glowy, that's probably why. But I was thinking of making a little like skincare routine video, but it just really doesn't fit my channel. So maybe you could let me know what you think. It could be a little just fun, like one-off video or whatever. Or maybe I could make a video about like sacred baths again and kind of turn it into something. But, I don't know. It's a little bit of a stretch, right? It's a little bit of a stretch to do that. So anyway, right now, I'm just going to tell you what I've been doing. My friend Cho, my internet friend, he's not like someone I know in real life, but I'd say internet friend, internet acquaintance, internet support, right? Like, he totally put me on to Paula's, is it boutique? I want to say Paul's Boutique. And I know that's a Beastie Boys album, but is it Paula's Boutique or is it Paula's something else? I hope you know what I'm trying to say. There's this like, this is my regimen, okay? I'll just say it here. I wash my face with various different things. If I have a lot of makeup on, I'll use this like oil cleanser by Jurlique. If I just like, it's just a normal day, I'll use some of that like Curave freaking just face wash or whatever. But I wash my face. That's where I start. I did buy myself this like fancy face wash thing that has like rose quartz in it from Sephora. So I did splurge 1 month on that thing. But I basically wash my face, and when I'm done, I use this stuff, this Paula's BPA chemical exfoliant. And I think that's what's been doing like the most on my face, honestly. It's really like smoothed out a lot of texture and stuff like that. So for those of you who don't know, I'm freaking 38. So this is a 38-year-old face here, okay? So I'm not gonna look like I'm 20. I'm not gonna look like a teenager, okay? Right? So anyway, I use that. I put it on with a like a little clothy thing, right? And then if it's nighttime, I'll use this niacinamide, 20% kind of thick serum, and that's what makes my face super shiny. So if I'm very shiny, I put that on. If it's during the day, I'll use OC like skin brightener, because I do have a lot of I guess like just sunspots or something like sunspots on my face. So and more importantly than that, actually, just like scars from like acne that I've had, or times that I freaking pick my face when I shouldn't have. So I've been using this brightening serum. I don't even know if it really works, but it smells good. It feels kind of like, I don't know, it's just like a nice process in general. After that, I'll put on some OC like under eye cream. I don't even know what it does, but like I'll just put that on, and I'll put it here because my areas are here and I guess here, just to take care of it. But this is my area that I'm focused on mostly. After that, I might put on some retinol. Maybe I use Paula's retinol. I think it's just like 1%. And I'll just do one pump, even though it says you can do two, just one, because I'm working up to it. It does make my skin dry and like flaky, so I don't like using it, but I'm trying to like incorporate it more. So maybe I'll put that on, and I'll really like target the areas that I have fine lines in, but also kind of rub it all over my face, if that makes sense. Like I'll start with targeting it, and then I'll put it all over. And then after that, I'll use like Curave, like moisturizer, like that big tub thing, and then that's pretty much it. And then I put like a lip treatment on, and that's what I do with my skin. So that's kind of my routine. So if you've been wondering if my skin's been looking better, I'd say a lot of it is just moving out of New York. I was I didn't get enough fresh air in New York. I was inside way more than I was outside. I'm outside a lot more here. Even just sitting outside and getting some fresh air, getting a little bit of sun, I think does wonders. Not tons, and I use sunblock, of course, right? But like in general, just being outside, being connected to nature, being in a place that I find so much beauty in. And like New York was beautiful, but it's a very different kind of beautiful, where Florida has, at least where I am in Florida, it has such a just completely different energy, like just completely different energy. It's like, it's wild here, don't get me wrong, but the vibe in general, like what I'm able to connect with in terms of the plants and the cool animals that hang out around my house, and like the sky and the ocean, all this stuff, it just has like a lot more vital force, and I think that helps. I also am never cold here, really. I mean, when the air is blasting, maybe for a couple months I'm wearing socks for a couple of months and like a sweatshirt. But all in all, like I don't do well in the cold. Like I really don't want to move back to any cold places. I don't want to visit anywhere unless I like only need a light jacket. Like I'm just not that kind of person. And I think that moving like really helped. I think finally going through with the divorce really helped too, and stuff like that, because that was a long time coming. So I'm just like in a different phase in my life in general. And I think that shows, and that like comes out of a person. So if you've noticed any difference in me in that regard, it certainly has to be tied to, you know, the changes and the new scenery and stuff, and also this new regimen. So yeah, anyway, that's what I got. This is like my boring ass video for the day. I'm sorry if this was like so pointless. I have more videos coming that are much more in alignment with what you might be looking for here. So thank you very much for bearing with me. I'm sorry for any awkwardness, or like, I don't know, just in general. I hope this was okay. plans for me. Like I said, I'm going to be working with a crystal shop soon. They are an independently owned family business in Brooklyn, so I'm excited to connect with them. We met through a mutual friend, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. I have, like I said, things that I want to begin doing on Patreon next year, which I'm still kind of planning. I am working with the Ascension Network, or the Ascension channel. They're going to be interviewing me in December, or they're going to be interviewing me this month, but they're putting on something in December, which I will definitely share about, which I'm really excited to hear. I think it's like 25 days of different practitioners or people who are kind of in alignment with, or not alignment, but like do work similar to me. If you've never seen the Ascension channel, Adrienne is the creator there. She just has such beautiful energy. Like, I'll put on her videos just to like get the transmittal from it. It's kind of like Ashtara as well. It's not the same content by any means, but the way some people just talk, and you get like something from it, even if it's not the conversation. Like, even if it's like this very interesting thing that happens with certain people. I hope that that's something I can do for certain people, honestly, because it's such an interesting, I don't have words for it. It's just fascinating, but like I really do feel it from certain channels 100%, and music too, and different artists and stuff as well, of course. I'm going to be working with Reiki with Anna soon too. We're collaborating on a project that I'm very excited to share. I haven't really started it much, so we're both kind of like not doing it for October, but going to circle back in November. Very honored about that. Yeah, there's just like a lot of good stuff going on in the air, and I think that the challenge this year has been to just like be okay with taking things slow, taking things in with a little twist, doing things a little differently than potentially we all had planned for this year. So, that's a thing, right? That's a thing. I am planning my classes as well for next year. I am going to start doing teacher training again. So for those of you who are interested in teacher training with me, who have taken other classes with me as well, I can't work with someone for teacher training if they haven't taken any classes with me. I feel like that's not how I can do it. You know what I mean? Like, I need to see somebody has seen me teach, and then we can move over to something like that. But regardless, if you've taken classes with me and you do feel called to become teacher certified and just take that next step, I am going to be offering that in January and February and even March if we need to open another class. These classes are smaller. There's a 6-person limit to the class, and it's a very different format. There's no attunement with this. It's much more of a teaching of how to do attunements yourself, practicing with one another, and discussing it from also more of a like how you hold classes, so like a more businessy kind of component in general. And yeah, I'm excited for all the things. I'm just sending you so much love. Sorry, I'm so awkward with my goodbyes. So I'll just try to wrap it up here. From the very bottom of my heart, I bow to the divine within you, within me, to this connection, this life shit, we are all a part of, right? And beyond. The life and the beyond that we are all somehow so unexplainably connected through. And I just send you so much love and so much thanks. Thank you so much for being a part of my journey. Thank you for allowing me to share a little piece of your path. And, it just means so much to me. All right. Much love to you, and namaste.